Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Setup Wars episode 369. We have a jam-packed, juicy episode filled with some amazing setups. So sit back and relax, hit us with the new intro, and let the Setup Wars begin. This August, I was traveling a lot, not just in the US, but I also flew to Germany twice in a span of only a couple weeks. Staying connected was a must. I mean, sure, I can rely on the local Wi-Fi, but it's not always available, and a data roaming plan would have cost me an arm and a leg. That's why I use UBG, an app that gives you eSIM data plans in over 200 destinations worldwide. You just simply download the app, register, pick your plan, which can be either a one-time thing, a monthly or annual subscription, and you're set. Because it's eSIM, you don't need to swap out SIM cards nor get local ones when you travel overseas. The best part is that the plan activates the moment you land, and even if you're out of data and have no access to Wi-Fi, you can still recharge right in the app. But before you book, make sure to dial the following numbers you see on the screen. If you see an EID number pop up like this, that means your phone is eSIM compatible. So download UBG now and use code TechSource to get 10% off your plan, and click the link below to get all the details. First up, we've got Fatih with his beautiful corner setup. This, quite frankly, looks like an oasis, a place to shut off the real world and fully immerse yourself in games. He's an intern doctor, and from what I know, hospital life isn't exactly easy, so being able to unwind after long shifts is a godsend. You can easily tell what this room is about the second you see it. The collectibles and the gaming touches are subtle, but they get the message across without being too in your face. The layout is simple. The left side is the PC station, the right side is the lounge with a TV that is also connected to the PC. I'm guessing that's where he leans back to game with a controller and consume his content. Looks like he's running two monitors in a T layout. The primary is a 27-inch, 170Hz panel from Acer, while the secondary is a 24-inch monitor from Aria? Even though he's using the default monitor stands, the main panel sits high enough to fit the creative speakers and a digital clock underneath it. For peripherals, he's rocking a Razer Black Widow V3 paired with an Ajaz mouse, both resting on top of a white Topo mousepad. I do have to commend the dedication to wrist health here for both the keyboard and the mouse. No surprise considering he's a future doctor. The rest of the desk surface stays clean. He's got the mic on the left, headphones and controllers to the right, and the PC tucked into the corner. It's an all AMD build with a Ryzen 7 7700X and an RX 7900 XT. Now if you want to push the look further, a set of black custom cable extensions would finish it off nicely. Or better yet, the new Hydrus cables to really add some extra bling to your system. We're actually selling this on our store. If you want to check it out, I'll drop a link to it down below. Below the desk, everything seems to be under control as well. All the cables are tied together and the power strip is resting in a cable rack. There is a bit of craft in this setup too. Those wood slats on the wall aren't panels from a box. He bought more than 110 pieces and glued them one by one, and even skinned a strip onto the case. Those wood panels mixed with the fake vines and the framed plant art make the room feel alive and tie in well with the wooden desk and wrist rest. Great setup to kick off the show. Thank you, Fatih and Mr. Cat, for sharing this with us. This one comes all the way from Bavaria in southern Germany. Hope you had a great Oktoberfest, my friend. This belongs to Florian, and it's a tribute to Nintendo with a hint of dark tactical vibes. I mean, this guy's got pretty much everything, and I'll have Mallory put the full list of consoles on screen. It's a really nice walk down memory lane, to say the least. It took him 4 years to get here, and the backdrop walls you see actually used to be white. He and his dad knocked out the new concrete gray paint in 2 days, and honestly, it was the right call. The darker walls might not be my personal choice, but they make the gear pop and bring a moody vibe to the room. The drawers are all blacked out, and the desktop is a slab he bought at a local hardware store and then custom cut to fit the corner. Very nice job. We've got yet another T layout with two 27-inch panels, an MSI as the primary and a Philips in vertical as the secondary, both mounted to the desk. He's rocking a full set of Corsair peripherals, complete with the keyboard, mouse, mousepad, Stream Deck, and even the headphones tucked to the left. Since most of it is wireless, there isn't a single cable in sight on the desk. Underneath the desk, everything is managed beautifully as well. The PC is more proof of how big a Corsair fan Florian is. It's an AMD build inside the Corsair 4000D, featuring a Ryzen 9 5900X, an RX 6900 XT, and a bunch of other Corsair components. I do have to say, the custom display shelves really complete the space. There are grid frames for the Nintendo handhelds, a shelf dedicated to Mario Kart, some Zelda touches, and so much more. There is one shelf that deviates from the whole Nintendo vibe, because it's dedicated to Rainbow Six Siege. But looking at it from a wider angle, nothing is out of place here. It's a tight themed and functional room. Thank you, Florian, for coming on the show. Setup number 3 also comes from Germany. It belongs to Hendrik, a mechatronics technician and unapologetic My Little Pony fanatic who, despite limited space, still put together a clean and capable battle station. He built his own oak desk and runs triple 32-inch monitors. Old me would have absolutely flipped seeing 3 different brands with 3 different bezels and stands right next to each other. But hey, at least they're all the same resolution, with the main gaming one being a 240Hz screen. Like I mentioned, they're on their stock stands, but since the desktop isn't too crowded, he isn't really losing much space. Given he plans to move soon, this will be far easier to disassemble than a nest of monitor arms. I also love that he placed the Newbert speakers on dedicated stands and tilted them toward him. That is textbook listening position, and someone's definitely been watching Setup Wars. For peripherals, he went with the ROG Azoth keyboard, a Logitech G502X Lightspeed, and a pair of XM5s hanging underneath the desk. I'm not entirely sure what that small bench underneath the desk is meant for though. It's got a Fox for a pad on top, so I'm guessing it's a footrest for when he leans back. Otherwise, you'd have to be very flexible to use it while sitting upright. AMD seems to be the go-to choice for this episode. Hendrik went with a Ryzen 9 7900X and a Red Devil RX 7900 XTX, an absolute beast of a GPU for gaming. I am very happy to see that he elevated the tower from the floor so it doesn't inhale any dust. Cable management behind the PC and underneath the desk is under control, so no complaints here. Everything is tucked away and routed through a white raceway that blends into the wall. Very good job overall. Looking around the rest of the room, the mix of knives and My Little Pony is wild, but funny combo. Kind of reminds me of that one movie where The Rock was wearing a My Little Pony t-shirt. Either way, it was great having you on the show, Hendrik Lamar. Thank you for participating. Next is Henrique, a man of many talents from Brazil. He's a software developer, makes music, draws, edits photos, and apparently fights stormtroopers on weekends. Everything he needs for his hobbies is within arm's reach in this very room. In fact, he designed the whole room and its layout first, then he had a carpentry shop build the desk to his spec. Looking at the setup alone, it's clean and practical, but turn to the side and kill the lights and the whole room flips into an ambient lit studio. Love the vibes. He's using a single LG ultrawide, and even though it's on an arm, he still added a riser underneath for symmetry and storage. The layout is intentional. The drawing tablet sits centered, the Focusrite Scarlett Solo is to the left, which is wrapped in a wood skin to match the desk, and the Edifier speakers sandwiching the monitor from both sides. The peripherals of choice are a Red Dragon keyboard, a Logitech G502 mouse, and Cooler Master headphones hanging underneath the desk. This is also where his Boss Katana amp lives when he wants to shred on his guitars, displayed beautifully on the wall. Speaking of walls, they carry most of the personality here. There is a DIY lightsaber, Lego and Skylanders from his childhood, guitars on display, a custom pegboard with 3D printed props, and even a Mandalorian armor build in progress. He also wired up a DIY Ambilight using his own software to sync the lightsaber and desk strips. That is freaking cool. To check the cable management for all this, we'll have to peek behind the desk. It isn't the prettiest solution, I'll be completely honest, but it's organized with a bunch of Velcro and there's a clear path to everything. So functionality, it's solid. The PC is surprisingly a budget build that still gets the job done, featuring a Ryzen 5 3600 and a GTX 1660 Super. I do have to say the GPU sag gives me a little anxiety, so I do recommend picking up a small bracket or support. It's a super cheap and quick fix. However, he is planning a bigger upgrade when the next CPU and GPU generations land, but for now, the machine keeps up with all of his work. One of the coolest touches I want to mention before wrapping up is the 3D printed Guitar Hero controller that uses keyboard switches. It's still a prototype, but it works, and it perfectly sums up the setup. Hands-on, clever, and personal. Keep experimenting and spreading the DIY spirit. Henrique, thank you so much for being on the show. Last but certainly not least is Jessie, whom some of you might know as Madame Muffins from my Discord server. She is none other than Matt's wife, our Sir Muffins, who took home the seal of approval in episode 352 and promised the wifey would enter the show very soon. Lo and behold, here we are with this beautiful, soft pastel creative space that's all Jessie, with that signature DIY muffin style. Just like Matt's, this setup has a beautiful story, and it's all about bees. Jessie has always loved nature, and after her husband introduced her to beekeeping, she fell in love with them too. So she repurposed old hive boxes into record storage, attaching the sleeves to the frames just like the honey would be stored in a hive. Not only that, but she took the dried flowers from her wedding bouquet and made a framed keepsake with real beeswax from one of their hives. And the koa wood you see underneath the monitor, that's actually the other half of the slab from Matt's setup, turned into a monitor riser for hers. These are all technically small parts of the room that can be easily overlooked, but carry a huge dose of personality and heart. She's running dual displays for her setup. For the primary, we have a 32-inch curved AOC and a 15.6-inch portable as the secondary. Peripherals of choice are the Royal Clutch M75 keyboard and 2 mice, the Logitech G Pro Superlight and a Razer Viper Ultimate, so she can swap depending on the task and whenever one runs out of battery. It's always good to keep a spare. The audio gear is mainly from Edifier, with the R1280T speakers, a pair of headphones, plus an additional set from Razer. A lot of DIY touches tie the theme together. Frosted bee feeder jars with fairy lights, custom cable management boxes and raceways, hexagon moss art above the TV just like in Matt's setup, and even a custom mousepad rack built from rails with an adjustable shelf. The PC powering the setup is a tiny build inside the Fractal Terra Jade, which fits beautifully into the room. It's packed with another Ryzen 7 5700X 3D and a Radeon RX 7600 XT. This room just feels like a place where you like to sit, throw on a record, grab a blanket, and forget all your troubles. It proves it's not just about high-end parts. It's about what you do with the space. A phenomenal way to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much, Jessie, for coming on the show. As always, comment down below which of these favorites was your setup. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still enjoying the show, consider tossing a like to show your support, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.